Hello there, and welcome to a new episode of the Long Island Podfather. It's been a while. I've been very busy working on the Fontanas and preparing for auditions and casting and Indiegogo. So I've been very busy. Happy President's Day. Like I said, it's been a while, so I wanted to come out and talk to everybody. I actually woke up this morning not in the greatest of moods, and when that happens, you gotta sort of fire yourself up. Went to the gym, had a pretty intense workout, came back, felt a lot better. But being in a bit of a serious mood, I figured with President's Day, what else is there to talk about but politics? And the interesting thing about politics is we don't talk about it anymore. It's sort of that thing that we've been told you don't talk about. And these phrases permeate through life, and they take on a life of their own, like the things you don't talk about at parties, politics, and religion. So we start not talking about politics. And if you think about it, what is the biggest aspect of solving any problem? Communication. So we're being told by some thing in the universe not to talk about things. And I think the bigger problem is not that we talk about things, it's how we talk about things. I think we should talk about politics. I think that the way to solve problems is to talk about politics. As many of you know, I started a show years back called Nobody's Talking Politics. And it was interesting because people would come on the show and I would bring in a conservative, a liberal, Democrat, Republican, and the concept was to talk about politics and find common ground, agreements, and things that we disagree about to discuss them. And it was actually very interesting, at least from my perspective, but I had many viewers and even friends say, you gotta fight. There has to be fight. There has to be disagreements, and nasty disagreements if you're gonna attract an audience. And that kind of took the winds out of my sails because it wasn't the purpose of the show. The purpose of the show wasn't to entertain like the WWE. The purpose of the show was to bring people together and solve problems, which is something people don't want to do anymore. And I think there's a lot of political issues that people should just agree on. I always say we have to stop arguing that my criminal is better than your criminal. Politicians, for the most part, are corrupt individuals. And with each passing year and each passing decade, it gets worse. The opportunity gets worse. Mankind, given the opportunity to do things wrong, probably will. And like I said, they're becoming celebrities. So we elect people to do the bidding of the people, but how can they do the bidding of the people if the people can't come together on what it is they want? So by division, they flourish. Divide the people, convince them not to talk about the problems. And really what we should do, maybe look at social media. Somebody posts something political and everybody just attacks. Nobody can discuss. So how are we going to solve problems? I mean, really, it's pretty simple. If people can't communicate, it kind of makes us look like idiots because all we do is argue. People get on this topic, they argue about the things that they disagree on, and they never come to any agreement. So logically, the first thing to do is discuss politics and start with the topics you agree on. So I would think whatever position, whatever political party you're in, sit down with your buddy who obviously disagrees with you on most things and say, hey, what do we agree on? If you find the things that you agree on, then you're starting a conversation in a civilized manner. As you grow towards the things that you don't agree on, you should be able to continue that level of communication. It's almost like adults need a Mr. Rogers. I mean, seriously, when you're a little kid, you're watching Mr. Rogers and you're watching Sesame Street, and they literally teach you how to behave. And then when you become adults, somehow, because you're adults, you think you know better, and we're all acting like idiots. So, I mean, literally, right now, we all want peace, right? What's going on in the Ukraine, these situations with Russia, they're not good. I think we can all agree on it, but for some reason, we're arguing about whether it's this guy's fault or that guy's fault. And the bottom line is, it shouldn't be happening, because our leaders should be unifying in how to solve problems. Peace should be a goal of everyone in this country. Low gas prices should be a goal of everyone in this country. Sure, we can sit here and discuss things like global warming and whether it's real, but electricity is expensive. I happen to have a car that runs as a hybrid, so this gas crunch doesn't really affect me because I can plug in my car or run on gas. But electricity has a cost. Electricity has a manufacturing component that also affects the environment. These things need to be discussed, and we need to somehow get a handle on the facts, which is another problem we have right now, is obtaining actual factual data is a real problem. Where do you go to get it? Who do you believe? Who do you trust? Everybody's so agenda driven, and their political party and persuasion is going to put huge amount of dollars into their pockets. So the real issue is, we don't trust our leaders. And if we don't trust our leaders and we're not communicating with each other, I got news for you. We're in a lot of trouble, and they are making fools out of us. So we got to do something. And that's why I encourage people to talk about it. It's a difficult thing. It's going to be something that we're going to have to somehow figure out a means by which we can communicate without yelling at each other. I mean, I literally, years ago, I would post things on Facebook with my opinions or thoughts. And sometimes now I actually type things and then I just delete them, because you know where it's going to go. It's just going to be met with attacks. And I've even prefaced it by saying, look, I don't want an attack here. I'm just curious about people's opinions. And the attacks come anyway. And that's how we're being wired and we're being programmed. And some of you out there right now are going, yeah, but it's Trump's fault. It's your first thought. And the gas prices, yeah, but it's Biden's fault. And we're dealing with figureheads and puppets, and nobody really has a clue what's going on, because we are so utterly controlled. And I personally believe this is how they want it. It's a divide and conquer mentality, and we're playing right into their hands. So the first thing we have to do is communicate. I recently made a phone call to one of the resorts I go to in Poconos, Woodloch Pines. I've been going there since I'm a little kid. And I talked to them, and, they always have special rates going, and they absolutely do not have any special rates going on right now, because they can't. They can't afford it, because they're at 50% capacity. And the reason is because they can't get help. This is a place that has flourished for over 50 years, and it's one of the largest employees, if not the largest employer, in the Pocono area. Same people live there, but they can't get anyone to work. Now, this is a problem. It's a problem that we're going to sit here and point the fingers of blame and say, well, why aren't they working? Because people are home. Or they, they're not working because they're getting government handouts. Or let's start with the basic premise. Work is good. Accomplishments are good. So our government should be putting things in place that enable people to learn and grow and work and grow and feel accomplished. I don't care what party you're from. That's what we should all agree with. But yet we fuel the hatred that, well, the wealthy people are billionaires, so I don't want to do anything and I want a government handout. The basic principle is work and accomplishments are good. Whether it was this morning when I got up in a bad mood and I just went out and worked on my body, the accomplishment was good, and it changes your mindset. And that's what our government should be working towards. Our government should be working for us, not to break us down and destroy us. And we are so divided. I'm not going to mention the person's name, but I had a well-known actor that was going to be in my film, The Mark, and the actress that was going to play the lead was a Trump supporter. And after committing to the project, he found out that that the female actress was a Trump supporter, and he quit. Actually, I don't care. I'm going to mention his name. It was Jackie Martling. And he loved the script. He was going to play a major role in the script. And he sent me a picture of himself. He actually bumped into the lady who was playing the lead actress and sent me a picture saying she's great. We talked. We've actually, talked about the characters, and it's great. And then the next day he called me and quit because he found out that this person was actually a Trump supporter who worked on the Trump campaign. And I personally think that's wrong. I would never cut someone out of my script or my film or my play based on their political leanings. I would cut someone out of my production based on their criminal activity or if they did something directly to hurt other people. But politics shouldn't behave that way, and quite frankly, it shouldn't even be something that's allowed to continue. I mean, in this world of protecting every group and every party and every religion and every race, Me Too movement, it just seems grotesquely unfair that politics seems to be the one thing that we can still put this hatred out there for. And again, I always say, I think that the majority of the people on the majority of issues agree. And if we actually sit down and talk about it, we will come to that conclusion. I've sat down with people who are different political parties than me, and I don't even like to use that term because, again, just to get deeper into it, we have two political parties. It's like going to a restaurant and having two things on the menu. Those political parties benefit them. What we have is ideas and opinions and ideals and things that we believe are for the betterment of mankind. That's supposed to be what politicians have in mind for us as well, but they have their own self-interests in mind. So it's a problem. And I'm not a revolutionary guy or somebody who's trying to, convince people to have like, any kind of a civil war here, because I think that is because people can't agree. I actually believe people can agree, but we're in a strange time right now where our government doesn't want us to agree. But I will bet anybody out there that if we sit in a room and list 25 political subjects, topics that are under fire right now or within question, and we have the facts, that we will mostly agree on the solutions. But that doesn't put money in their pockets. So let's wise up, communicate, and talk politics. Just do it in a civilized manner, as if Mr. Rogers was overseeing the conversation. Because the only way we're not going to continue down this destructive path is if we communicate and problem solve. And this is something that is not happening across this great country, whether it's in small businesses, small government offices, as I can attest to. The divide and conquer mentality is real, and it fits their agenda. So let's wake up and take back what we believe in. Enjoy the rest of your President's Day. Thanks for listening, and see you soon.